Up lunch on XL Primetime.
Weekdays from noon till 1:30. Brought to you by Wingstop.
Now I'm really hungry.
On 1010XL.
Do you suffer from acid reflux? If you have persistent heartburn, long-term use of reflux medications could lead to other problems. The experts at Baptist Center for Bariatric and Reflux Surgery can pinpoint the cause of your issue and tell you about the latest treatment options that could end your reflux symptoms for good. Call 904-202-REFLUX today. That's 202-7335.
Hey, this is Charles Rawlerson at the Fleming Island Golf Club. I'd like to bring you up to speed with a few things we're doing at the club. We just opened the Hibernia Pub. It's an Irish pub which features your favorite Irish meals and all your draft beers. Also, in the beginning of 2020, we're going to have the new Top Golf Top Tracer technology on the driving range, featuring 10 bays. We're going to have all the food and beverage amenities that you would have at some of the bigger Top Golf facilities. And of course, every day we have golf from $28 to $48. Please visit us at the golf club and FlemingIslandGolfClub.com.
Hey, life is crazy fast. Fuel up right with Fresh Fit sandwiches at Subway restaurants. Our better-for-you options include turkey breast, black forest ham, and sweet onion chicken teriyaki on wheat with all the veggies. Get Fresh Fit, only at Subway. Fresh Fit refers to 6-inch subs on 9-grain wheat bread with all the fresh vegetables. Fresh Fit subs are prepared in front of you and not a diet program. Please consult your doctor before commencing any exercise or weight loss program to ensure that your own individual health circumstances are taken into account.
When you look for that hard-to-find part for your car or truck, Rusty Acres is your source for used Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury auto parts. You'll get the parts you need and advice on how to install them. Rusty Acres, 786-1777.
Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Jacksonville? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Jacksonville area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Jacksonville is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals Guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
No fighting. Shakira. I never really knew that she could dance like this. She make a man wanna speak Spanish.
One of your favorites, huh, Brooke?
I don't really listen to pop music per se, but I like Shakira. I think she's got some sass to her.
I did not watch that. I do want to. What a great time! I want to thank our friends from Jerry's, Lisa and all the people at Jerry's. 11th straight year out there. Get Smart John killed it with the trivia. What a fun! That's the way to spend a Super Bowl. The 3 of us were there, and we had a big time. So, if you haven't been to Jerry's yet, it's the best brunch in town for sure. On Saturdays and Sundays, but what a fun sports bar! Live music on Friday and Saturday nights, and gosh, do we have a big time out there? We sit at the same spot. We have the best time, and it was really, really a good time. So. Thanks to our friends at Jerry's, 11 straight years now. And thanks to my man John, killed it on the trivia again.
And people are so smart. I mean, they know the answers to those super quickly.
Yeah,
I'm always impressed.
Yeah, did you know a lot of them?
I didn't. Yeah, I was sort of off. I knew maybe 5.
Yeah, I think we had 23 questions. I knew all but 3. And I just froze on George Allen, the coach of the Redskins the year.
It seemed like this year it tilted a little bit more like Super Bowls 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Which is not going to be a strong suit for me.
Yeah.
I got nothing on those.
He went way back. So not George Allen was a coach of the Redskins. Not when they beat the Dolphins. That was Joe Gibbs. He coached the Redskins that lost, and I had forgotten about that. So, but anyway, great time at Jerry's. And again, if you missed it, shame on you. There's next year. So that's where we will be for the Super Bowl. So we hope you'll come out and hang out with Lisa and us and the whole team over there at Jerry's. So we had a wonderful time yesterday. Tony Baselli did not get into the Hall of Fame. I'm disappointed for him. I think he should have been in. I think they all got it wrong. I was outspoken about that last week. I was outspoken about that on Twitter. Tony took the high road because he's a good dude, and I feel for him. But I feel for our city, too. This isn't just Tony Baselli. It's the city. It's the franchise. It's the teal and black. It's the stadium, and it's all of us. It's all of us. We were all trying to get in. This was all of us going in together yesterday, and it didn't happen. And so I'm disappointed. I'm a homer, and I don't care. I thought he should have been in. And if I wasn't a homer, I still think he was a better left tackle than most of the guys I saw, and he was a better football player than I think the guys that went in. So that's my opinion. Today, Tony was on the drill with Dan and Jeff, as he always is on Monday mornings. He talked about a variety of things involving the Hall of Fame process, mostly how he took a much more positive approach heading into the process this season.
This year was different. I just said I was going to do it different. We did it. We had 16 people in the room. And 2 o'clock, I said, shut the door. No one's leaving until we get a knock. We had food. We had some drinks. We had the kids. We were just sitting there laughing. And I said, let me tell you something. We are not going to sit here and act like we're waiting for the death call. Like the year before, we sat there and no one talked. We just looked at each other.
No, you can't do it that way.
And I said, we're not doing that. I said, we're going to sit here, we're going to laugh, we're going to tell stories, we're going to enjoy each other's company. It's part of the journey, and it's great. People enjoy it. And we're hoping for the knock. If I get a phone call, we're not going to sit here and cry and feel terrible and feel sorry for ourselves. We're going to keep on going. And we're going to enjoy each other. We're going to dinner, and we're going to have a good time.
And you heard him say knock or phone call. I think if you follow the process, you know by now that if you get in, they knock on your door and tell you. If you are not one of the ones of the finalists that get in, they call and tell you. And Tony got the phone call, as you know. He was asked also by Dan and Jeff this morning, what would his message be to Hall of Fame voters?
I'm not sure what else you want me to do. What else do you want? Because you as voters, and this isn't a shot at them, it's hard. There's no stats. One, I shouldn't be lumped together with guards. 2 positions. 2, there's no stats for any of us. And so you have to watch us and understand what we did. And that's hard for people who aren't watching film and stuff. It's difficult. And by the way, there's a handful of people in that room who never watched me play because they weren't covering the game. And so what do you have to go by? Go by the guys I played against. And the guys I played against said I was the best.
Also, Sam Kavaris has taken a lot of criticism. Sam has done his best to present Tony. I've got a thought about that, and I'll get to it. I don't think Sam's the reason he's not getting in, and I'm glad Tony said that and others have said it. But Dan and Jeff asked him today, what would you say to people, Tony, who have criticized Sam's presentation of you?
Sam puts a ton of work into this. He does a bunch of research. He talks to a lot of people. He puts together kind of what he's going to do. He gives it to me and says, what do I think? And I'll tell you, every time I look at it, I'm blown away. It's important to him. And Sam asked me afterwards. He says, man, if you think I'm the reason you're not getting in, I'll do whatever you want me to. I said, Sam, no, you're presenting me until I get in. Yep. And we're doing it together.
And that's a great touch. We're doing it together. Excuse me. We're doing it together, which is a great touch by Tony and to defend Sam, who's taken way too much of a hit for this. Finally, he said it's important to enjoy the Hall of Fame process, but it's harder every year, and I get that. Here's his comments.
Guys have waited longer than me. It stinks. I don't enjoy it. Is it an honor just to be a finalist? And it is an honor, but I'm enjoying this process less and less every year. But hopefully Tampa will be the year, but we'll wait and see.
The comments of Tony Baselli, and I'm glad he went through all of that. I know it's a disappointing time for him. A bunch of thoughts. First of all, if you read Peter King's column today, he talked about the discussion times. Did you guys see this? Mm-hmm. Did you see? They discussed Tony Baselli for 36 minutes. The next highest was 24.
Yeah.
Alan Faneca was 9 minutes. Okay, so they didn't discuss anybody for more than 24 minutes other than Tony. They discussed him for 36. So that takes your presenter off the hook. Well, that's after the presentation. That is everybody in the room going around the room and discussing it. So obviously Tony got a great deal of discussion. People want to blame somebody. This isn't on the presenter, and I appreciate the fact that Tony has said that, and I appreciate the fact that Tony said, you know what, we're in this together, and you're going to present me until it's time not to anymore. Hopefully that means because I'm in. And I this isn't Sam. Pete Prisco was very outspoken about this. This isn't on Sam. A lot of people in that room will tell you this isn't. So it's not a Sam thing. And I'm not in the room, but I've talked to enough people that are, and enough people, including Tony, who's not in the room, but certainly he's the guy this is about. So this, secondly, isn't on Sam. Having said that, so why isn't he in? I'll tell you what I think. I think at the end of the day, and I'm being angry guy here a little bit, I think it's a Jacksonville bias. I think we're this small market. We're this small market that's never played in a Super Bowl. We're this small market that's had bad teams more than we've had good teams. And I think that, in conjunction with the length of playing time, even though Kenny Easley and Terrell Davis and Dwight Stevenson and so many players have been played less than he did, okay? There's a lot of players that have played less than Tony has that are in the Hall of Fame. Gale Sayers among them. But for whatever reason, it's a double standard because that is working against him. Had he played 10 years and been to 9 Pro Bowls, he'd be in by now. So he would. I'm telling you, he would be in by now. So you can say all you want that, well, Terrell Davis and Kenny Easley and others have taken that off the chart, but they haven't. Because if so, he would be in by now. So I think it's small market. I will say this again, and again, I'm biased because he's a friend, but Troy Polamalu belonged in. Okay? He belonged in. But I don't know that I'm convinced he was better than Ronnie Lott or Kenny Easley or Larry Wilson or Adrian Wilson or all these other really good safeties before and after. I don't know that he was.
Ed Reed.
I don't know that he was better.
He wasn't.
Yeah, right. He wasn't better. So he was a really good player. All right. Edgerrin James, a wonderful player. I can name 4 or 5, 10 NFL running backs in my lifetime that were better players. I can't name a lot of left tackles that were ever better than this guy. Okay, I can't. Anthony Munoz was the greatest of all time. Jonathan Ogden was a really good player. Walter Jones was a really good player. Walter Jones wears 71 because he idolized Tony Baselli. But I think Tony played the position better than just about any left tackle I ever watched, and I really believe that. And so that's the frustration. A, he's a guy I know and care about. B, he represents all of us. He represents our city. He represents our team. He represents us. Okay, us. This was us that got rejected. Us. And that bothers me. And I think he was better than all those guys. So I think it's a shame. I think he's been held to a double standard. I think all of us, our city is being held to a double standard. And it's really bothersome for me that they got it wrong again. I respect the process. I respect the NFL. There's tons of media guys that have forgotten more about NFL coverage than I will know. I don't pretend to be an expert, but I am passionate about it. I've got an opinion, and it's really bothersome for me.
Well said. And, I think it comes down to longevity and the perception of the franchise, which is for a lot of people that don't live in Jacksonville and don't pay a lot of attention to the Jaguars around the nation, like the other 47 guys in that room, the Jaguars are losers. And that's just how it is. I mean, we always say, what's the barometer of should you be in the Hall of Fame? Well, if I can't tell the story of pro football without you, you certainly belong in. Well, the problem is when you play for the Jaguars, people can tell the story of the NFL without the Jaguars because they've never been to the Super Bowl. And yes, they've had a moment here and there, but for the most part, they're the team that every year seemingly in the offseason, everybody's like, hey, watch out for this. This could be the surprise team. And for the most part, they fall on their face and show gross incompetence consistently. And I think that hurts. I think it hurts Tony Baselli, even though the Jaguars were really good during his era, and he was the biggest part of why they were really good in his era. I think the fact that, the franchise is really had 2 decades of horrid play, and there's no sign of it improving, I think it hurts. And, I would not be surprised if the year that Tony Baselli goes in is the year the Jaguars win 10 games. I will not be at all surprised if those two things coincide with each other. And I think he gets in. I mean, from what you see from reading Peter King's column, and Sando for The Athletic kind of got into this as well, it really does seem like there is really strong momentum for Tony. And I don't know that you can even rule out next year, because even if you do concede that obviously there'll be probably 3 first ballot Hall of Famers, and Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, and Megatron.
Yep.
And Jared Allen, I think, has a good chance to get in. There's still one spot. And it does feel like he is right on the cusp. So he is the next guy in. You don't have to worry about Hutchinson. So maybe it'll be Faneca next year, and maybe the wait will continue. I'm not willing to say that Tampa Bay absolutely won't happen next year. I do think it's going to happen soon. But I think the franchise as a whole has let Tony Baselli down, because since the day he, was no longer a Jaguar, they have stunk. And they're going to continue to stink. And I've got more on this later, but I think that is a big, big problem.
But Tony Baselli should not be held to a standard of Mike Mularkey and Gus Bradley and now Doug Marrone. None of that should, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying none of that should affect how he played in those 97 games as a Jaguar. Whether or not this franchise has been god-awful for most of the last 2 decades, it shouldn't factor. But it would be fascinating to be in that room when they're having that conversation, because Peter King said he left the room thinking Baselli was in. So it's obviously not that they got to a point where they all said absolutely not. He thought he was going to be able to go in. I don't understand. Tony mentioned in one of those clips that there are people that didn't cover the games, and so therefore a lot of them didn't see him play when he was a Jaguar. How is that possible?
I don't know, because it feels like the average age in that room is 73.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that answer.
Yeah, that seems.
My guess is a lot of people didn't see the Jaguars play a game in person. I think everybody was aware of the Jags their whole time, but what I'm assuming is they never were in a Super Bowl. They were in 2 championship games, but they were never. So I'm guessing the lack of prominence of our city, of our team, has something to do with this. And I think it's a shame. Here's the other thing: we know of a bunch of voters who voted for him. You know, Vito did. You know, Sam did. Peter King wrote today that he did. I know of others that did. So for him not to get there, you've got to have a bunch of guys that didn't have him on the ballot at all. How is he not? I mean, I don't know. It just surprises me that there's that many that didn't vote for him. So, and we don't know how close. We don't know if he was 6th. You know, we don't know how close he got. We don't know what the percentage is. In baseball, anybody who gets 75% is in. Football isn't like that. It's the 5 who get the most are in. So you don't know what the percentages are. It's a whole different paradigm. So, but Tony Baselli belongs in. I hate it for him. I appreciate how the classy way in which he handled it. He went about it the right way. We're going to have 16 of us, family and friends. We're going to have a big time, and it's not going to be a morgue, and we're not going to sit there all nervous. Now, part of that is you're talking yourself into it. You're a human being. But you know, I can tell you we connected right after, and he's okay, and yeah, he's all right. So
I don't like that part of the process, though. You're
knocking
in a room, and you just have to wait, and
Yeah.
the anxiety just must be through the roof because it's a sound that's about to happen.
Yeah, and he's in one of the toughest spots in that he knows he belongs in. Nobody debates that, by the way. They might not vote for him, and you never hear anybody say, I'm not sure he's a Hall of Famer. Have you heard anybody say that?
No, that's why this whole thing is so ridiculous.
Yeah, no one says that. And it's easy if you know you're going in. It's going to be an easy process for Peyton Manning, okay? It's not that – I think it would have been easier for Leroy Butler. I love Leroy. He's a wonderful player. I think he's a Hall of Fame player one day. But I think Leroy probably knew he wasn't getting the call. I know he said to Gene Fournette in Gene's column that he expected to go in. I don't think Leroy expected to go in this year. So I thought it was an easier process for him. It's harder for a guy like Tony who knows he belongs in, and Hutchinson too, who belonged in and also had was a finalist 4 times. John Lynch has been a finalist 7 times. I mean, it's harder for those guys who believe they belong in, yet know they may not get the call for all the ancillary reasons we've just discussed. So it's a hard thing.
And when you hear, I think this is the year repeatedly, I think you sometimes drop your guard down a little bit, and then you allow yourself to believe that, you know what, if they're all saying that this is my year, I can finally relax and not worry about it, and then you're right back into the same position next year.
Hopefully Tampa Bay next year's Super Bowl will be the answer. We'll take a break. Let's get it to the actual game on the field. The Chiefs win 31-20. What went into it, and where does the league stand now? We'll talk Super Bowl after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, look, if you want to buy a car, a good one, and get a great buy, now's the time. Look, it's tax time. You're going to have a tax refund if you don't have one already. Money's coming back to you. Well, guess what? Use that money wisely. You got a little cash in your pocket, right? And you've been wanting a new car. Well, why not use it where you get a great buy, where you get great value, people that you can trust selling that car to you, and beautiful American-made cars from Buick, GMC, and Chevrolet. Add that all up, and it means take that tax refund and buy your car from Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet is located on Cassett Avenue. Nimnicht Buick GMC, wonderful car dealership. You'll love the buildings. Located on Phillips Highway. Trained salespeople that will treat you right, not just before the sale. They all do that, but even after the sale, because they want you happy. They're reputable. Spend that tax refund money the right way. Head to Nimnicht today. That's Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Gator fans know where to go for news and talk from insiders who covered the program for decades.
1010XL.
Gator fans know where to go for live conversations and analysis every day from local hosts who bleed orange and blue.
1010XL.
Gator fans know where to go for weekly Gator podcasts.
1010XL.
Gator fans know you go to 1010XL, Jacksonville's Gator station.
Motley Crue, Def Leppard, The Stadium Tour, a once-in-a-lifetime event with Poison and Joan Jett of the Blackhearts. Jacksonville, June 18th, TIAA Bank Field. Pre-sale for City Card members begins Tuesday at 10 a.m. through Thursday at 10 p.m. Before the general public on sale Friday at 10 a.m. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Looking for a truck? Then drive like a pro in a new GMC Sierra SLT Crew Cab or the new sporty GMC Terrain, fast and fun to drive. Have you seen the new Buicks? Fastest selling crossovers with luxury and performance, the Enclave, Envision, Encore, and experience the all-new Buick. Visit their website, keybuickgmc.com, or stop in at the corner of Southside and Gate, Trucktown and Tinseltown. Key Buick GMC, the only name to know for Buicks and GMCs. Our family helping your family buy cars.
Ackerman Urology has the latest options for improving men's health and vitality. Their board-certified urologists treat prostate disease and sexual health issues to ensure your confidence and wellness. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Think of a person who you like a lot. Now think about how good it would feel to do something nice for them, like a massage or a facial or a gift card from, I don't know, Massage Envy, where they can do either or both. You could give them this gift card any day of the year, like February 14th, for example. Wouldn't that be nice?
Give the gift of wellness this Valentine's Day with a Massage Envy gift card. Buy a $100 gift card and get a $25 promo card free now through February 14th at select franchise locations.
Don't feel bad when they know more than you.
I want to apologize.
Yeah, what happened there?
We've all been there.
Helmets and Heels.
Driven by Tire Outlet.
Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers.
Tuesdays from 6 to 8 p.m.
on 1010XL.
Flame Broiler's $5 happy hour will keep your wallet and waistline healthy. From 2 to 5 p.m. weekdays and all day Saturday and Sunday, enjoy your choice of all-natural chicken, Angus beef, or organic tofu with veggies served on steamed rice. Try one of our 4 Jacksonville locations today. Simply healthy. Flame Broiler.
The Daytona 500. Be here on February 16th to witness the biggest race of the year, where one driver will make history as a Daytona 500 champion. Be here to feel the power that takes your breath away and brings you to the edge of your seat, and to experience the thrill of one of the greatest events in sports and one of the most iconic events in the world. This is the Daytona 500. Tickets are available now at 1-800-PIT-SHOP or Daytona500.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Sadly, we see lawyers bragging about a settlement that should have gone to trial and would have if we'd been the lawyers. A case settled for $100,000 may well have been worth $1 million at trial. To get a fair settlement, it helps if your firm has a reputation for going to trial and getting justice. Go to forthepeople.com and look at our recent verdicts in court. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Offices, Jacksonville.
If you're looking for a reason to work with a local Geico agent, I have all of them, because I'm the voice of reason. Reason 1, Geico agents could help you save on more than car insurance. Reason 2, they can help tailor your policy to fit your needs. Reason 3, they're local. And 4, they're local. Yes, I already said that, but it's still a good reason.
And if you're looking for more ways to save, your local Geico agent could help with more than just your auto insurance. Stop by or give them a call today. They're here to help.
Let's observe the inflatable noodle man. His constant undulating entices people to look at me, look at me. He's tireless and brainless, a literal airhead. Curiously, however, the inflatable noodle man, when hearing that Geico not only saves people money, but also has an award-winning app that makes it easy to manage one's policy, he knows you should switch. Because yes, switching to Geico is a no-brainer. Just ask an inflatable noodle man. Carefully, they are unpredictable creatures.
Hey, Hicken here for Roof It Right. Don't let anyone touch your roof until you call my friends at Roof It Right. The local 3-star President's Award winner. Only 17 roofers in the country have that distinction because they are the best, period. They're the only company I'd call when I need a roof, and with expert craftsmanship and industry-leading warranties, they're who you should call as well. Find them at roofitRightFL.com. That's roofitRightFL.com. Roof It Right, so you can sleep at night.
Instant Keys delivers honest, professional locksmith service for lost, broken, or spare keys. Call Instant Keys at 722-1111. Get dealership-level service in just minutes at a fraction of the cost. That's 722-1111.
One-to-One Financial is not your typical credit union. We have lower fees and better rates, and we invest 100% in Jacksonville. But what really matters is that we believe all people, no matter their background, deserve respect and access. We work with everyone, one-to-one, right where they are. Join us today at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire, with 4 locations on the First Coast to serve you.
He is just going to throw it long for DeMarcus Robinson. It is going to use up all the time. The game is over, and the Chiefs' kingdom has firmly planted its flag on top of football's highest summit. The Kansas City Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 54.
That was Chiefs play-by-play announcer Mitch Holthus. And the Chiefs
wrote
win
that, by the way.
31-20.
He wrote that before he just trust me. He wrote
course.
that. That was written. That was written.
I wasn't sure he was going to get there.
He wrote that just in case.
He let his emotion come through, and I think Frankie would do the same thing if you got to call a Jaguars Super Bowl victory, especially if it was the first one in 50 years. Obviously, for here, it would be the first one ever, which would also be a really good thing. So Patrick Mahomes, down 10 with about 8 to play, brings the Chiefs back, and they defeat the 49ers. Is Mahomes literally going to get a contract for over $40 million a year?
Yes, he's going to get all the money they can pay him, and he's the new face of the league, and he's got a ring to go with it. I said this to the guys at the handoff. You got to cut the head off the snake. You got to extinguish those guys. Ask Houston and Tennessee and now San Francisco. You got to extinguish them.
Houston probably thought they had up 24-0
because they can score so quickly, and they get that. They're one of those teams that when they get going, they get this air of confidence. They get this air of belief, and you start failing to believe. And we see it in all sports. We saw it with the Vegas running Rebs in basketball. You see it with the Yankees during all those years in baseball. You saw it with the Patriots in all those years in football. You see it with Alabama in football. When the team like that gets going, they gain this incredible measure of confidence, and you lose your confidence. And 2 or 3 key moments, obviously, the 49ers not running the ball. Matt Hayes said he thought it was 2nd and 3. I was thinking it was 2nd and 5 both times. But twice, whether it was 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 3, running on first down, and then they threw it the next 2 times and punted. So Kyle Shanahan will again be criticized for not running the football, and certainly that's fair. Run the ball, and you probably you make life tougher for the opponent. Obviously, the big throw to Hill was the play of the game. That was the play. It wasn't the coolest looking. The coolest looking play was everybody does the about face at the line of scrimmage, the play that Eric Bieniemy got from Michigan in the 40s or whatever it was. That was really cool. But the big play was the one big pass down the field on 3rd down to Tyreek Hill. That changed the game. That gave, and then obviously the pass interference, which was the right call. I don't know if they call it face guarding anymore, but that's what it was. And so the pass interference was the right call, and they get it in.
On Kittle.
Yeah, no. That was in the first half.
The one in the end zone.
The one in the end zone I'm talking about, when Kansas City had the ball. The one in the first half was obviously a very big play as well, the push-off. But I was talking about the pass interference at the end of on the Kansas City drive.
After Hill's catch.
Yeah, after Hill's catch, right. So I thought they got the call right. But the other thing that really jumped out, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this today, that down 10 with about 7 to play, did you see Patrick Mahomes' sense of urgency? That was so critical. Too many times, teams down 10 late or down 2 possessions late will be very casual in that first drive. They just don't want to mess anything up, want to make sure you get it in there, and then they get in a hurry after that. He was in a – did you notice that? He was in a hurry. He understood the sense of urgency. You talk about – he's 24 years old. But you talk about mind savvy and awareness. That's what I noticed because I kept thinking, they got a long way. They're down 10. There's 7 to play, and they're down 10. They got to go the length of the field. And he never lost sight of that. He never lost sight of the urgency. And I thought that did them well. Hey, Patrick Mahomes he's the king of the world right now. He's the king of the world. It's cool to be the king of the world. And right now, Patrick Mahomes is the king of the world, and I'm not sure who knocks him off that perch.
Yeah, and I thought the most impressive thing about it is it wasn't his night. I mean, for the first 3 quarters, I mean, he was even after the flurry at the end, his passer rating for the game was 78.2,
right?
Which for him is incredibly low. And obviously he got hot at the end. But that's to me the big takeaway is that's what the great players can do. And there's going to be games even in spotlights this big where Patrick Mahomes probably comes out and is lights out and throws for 5 touchdowns and almost 400 yards with a passer rating in the 120s or maybe even higher. He certainly has that ability. So for him to be able to find his game so late against a great defense in the Super Bowl with all the pressure of doing it for a franchise that hasn't seen it since 1970, a coach that is 6th all time in wins and has never won one, to be able to block all that out and deliver the way he was able to, it was remarkable. And if you're a general manager still looking for a quarterback and all you had to do was write down his name on a card and you didn't do it, I can't imagine the agony you're in today. And if you're not in agony, then shame on you, because you should be. Because it is amazing to me that this was, not even a top 5 pick in the draft. That numerous teams let Patrick Mahomes go by. He takes a 12-yard drop and then throws a ball like 56 yards in the air to Tyreek Hill on that play. It's one of the most spectacular athletic throws I've ever seen. And it's just in the mental game and everything and him wanting to, call that, suggesting it to Andy Reid on 3rd and 15. Just brilliant performance. And, yeah, it's hard to believe that, Patrick Mahomes won't be right back in this thing for, the majority of his remaining years in the league. So, is that 5 championships? I could see him winning 4 more. So we'll see. But, if you were to tell me right now, you guys asked me, a couple weeks ago, who's the next dynasty? To me, it's Kansas City because, Trevor Lawrence might be great.
Because of him.
But he's going to have a ways to go to catch Mahomes.
Philly special is easy to remember, but 2-3 jet chip wasp, the play that he wanted to run, that is just unbelievable that he recognized that they should call that. And you just have to be amazed at how many weapons that they have.
Well, that's the thing.
That's what's, when you watch from a Jaguars perspective, you're like, we don't have a guy that looks like that or that or that or that. They have 4 legit weapons, and we don't have anything that looks like that.
And that's what it is too. They just attack you. They're relentless. That's why you have to finish them off, man. You have to finish them off, and we've learned it. What gives me a little pause too is it going to be continued greatness for the Chiefs. Is they're flawed in some ways, or they wouldn't always be down double digits. Okay, they're not. They're not a steamroller. You shouldn't. Now they're a very deserving champion that beat good teams to this and won by double digits in all these games. But you shouldn't be down 24-0 in a home game. You shouldn't be down double digits the last 2 games you play. So, but worry about that now. Right now they're hoisting the trophy and they've deserved the trophy. And it was a great game. As for San Francisco, I tell you, Kyle Shanahan's really good. It's so easy to make a guy a GOAT. Gosh, does it seem like, and I know I'm this guy because I hear all the coach hammering, but this guy, Kyle Shanahan, he got the Falcons. He was a gigantic part of helping the Falcons build a 28-3 lead and building them into what they were. I know Dan Quinn's the head coach, but is there any doubt now in retrospect, Gibby, that Kyle Shanahan was a gigantic part of all that?
No, Matt Ryan won the MVP under Kyle Shanahan and hasn't been the same since.
Hasn't been the same since. He did that with Matt Ryan and the Falcons. He pops up in San Francisco, and all of a sudden the 49ers are in the Super Bowl in his third year. And he's such a good coach. He is such a franchise builder. Who knows where? I think he's about 13. Is he in junior high yet? Middle school?
About that.
But I mean, he's so young looking. He's such a good coach. It's clear now how good he is. I mean, they almost won the Super Bowl in his third year after the Falcons almost. Gibby said it way better than I could. That Ryan was the MVP with him and was totally different without him. Yet we focus on the run the ball thing. It just makes me want to pull my hair out sometimes that, okay, he messed up at the end. Probably should have run it more. It's a hard job. Sean McVay had a bad plan last year. Is anyone doubting him? You know what I mean? So,
well, and I think
the whole thing bugs me.
I think you should blame Jimmy Garoppolo a lot more than you should blame Kyle Shanahan. Jimmy G missed throws there that were open that he would have been able to lead his team to victory, and he's not the one. I mean, Kyle Shanahan can't,
Or you blame nobody and realize the other team's trying to win too.
Sure.
And sometimes it's a 12-round fight, and one guy lands a few more haymakers than the other, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they both obviously deserve some blame, but obviously the greater good stands out for Kyle Shanahan and what he's done with San Francisco, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo will be fine moving forward. But this was probably a little too big for him. Again, he was sort of the opposite of Mahomes. He was like 18-20, I think, at one point. And then you look at his final numbers, and obviously he was awful in the fourth quarter.
It felt like check down city in the 18 for 20.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, it did. But still, I mean, he was trying to
agree.
efficiently, manage it. And, the missed bomb to Sanders, you got to make that throw. I mean, if you want to win a championship, if you want to, outduel Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, then you've got to hit Emmanuel Sanders when you're down 4 with 1:39 left.
And he missed him bad.
And he missed him by 2 yards.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that, Emmanuel Sanders has, incredible speed. It's
he missed him badly enough that Sanders diving wouldn't have helped.
Wouldn't have helped.
If you miss him badly enough that a dive wouldn't help, you've missed him pretty bad.
And he wasn't grabbed. It wasn't like they missed a hold or
Right,
something.
right.
So it was just it was a bad throw. And, if you hit that, I don't know if San Francisco wins the game, but now you're up 3. There's a minute and a half left, and you kind of see where it goes from there. But, one quarterback rose to the occasion, one quarterback fell apart, and there's your Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl featured 2 undrafted running backs. Are we going to see potentially less value or less premium picks being made on running backs moving forward?
That's the Pete Prisco theory. Pete and I go back and forth on this. I say no. My theory, and it's a great question, Lauren, my theory is just because some undrafted backs helped the team win a Super Bowl doesn't mean that Saquon Barkley and Ezekiel Elliott and even Leonard Fournette have value when you can find them. I think we tend to throw a blanket over something and say that's a trend and that's how it is.
Right.
I will tell you, and I'm going to get to this later on in the program. You know what I would love? I would love for Derrick Henry to wind up with Jacksonville. No, I don't think the Titans would ever let him go. They got to make a decision here, okay? And they got to pay Tannehill too. So as of right now, he's not under contract, and Leonard Fournette is. And this is not a negative Leonard comment. I think Leonard Fournette had a wonderful year, and he earned back a lot of respect from a lot of people. I promise you he did. But in a time when ticket sales are going to be so tough, and you never sign a guy for ticket sales, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in my heart of heart, wouldn't that be fun? This team, this city of Jacksonville that is so close-knit and is takes so much pride in our own and wants so badly for this team to get to the mountaintop. Wouldn't it be great if 22 was here, wearing that teal jersey and that black helmet? Wouldn't that be cool? And I mean, wouldn't that be
dream big?
Yeah, and obviously the Titans would never be dumb enough to let that happen.
Well,
but wouldn't it be cool? I mean, wouldn't
it would be great.
I mean, again, it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Okay.
Derrick Henry has said Zeke numbers. That's
Yeah.
what he's looking for in a contract.
Yeah, and he's one guy, by the way. Derrick Henry is one guy that I don't think, I told you this yesterday at our party, Hayes. He's one guy that I don't think is the wear and tear on running backs, and history has shown if they get too many carries, and he's gotten a lot of carries. He's defied the odds forever.
I would pay him.
Yeah, I would too. I think he's going to defy that wear and tear odd. I just believe that. So anyway, that's a conversation for another segment at the least, if not another day. We'll take a break. When we come back, I'm going to keep it on the NFL one more segment. What now? The faces of the NFL. Have we seen a changing of the guard? I told you at the top of the program, it's the first Super Bowl in 7 years that didn't have Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. It's the second Super Bowl in 17 years that didn't have Brady, Manning, Breeze, or Big Ben. And it's the third in 20 years that didn't have Brady, one of the Mannings, Breeze, or Big Ben. Third in 20 years. So we pretty much had the head of the class in place. Does it change now, and what does that mean for Jacksonville and other teams? Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Sporting goods for the mind.
One for you, and one for you, and one for you.
Your sports superstore.
Yeah, what about Charlie? And one for Charlie.
1010XL.
Out of the top 10 vehicles made in America, which manufacturer has the most? Chevrolet, Chrysler, Ford, Toyota? Nope. Honda. That's right. Honda makes 60% of the top 10. Safety, quality, value, and made in America.
Honda, I like it. Oh, yeah, I like it.
Odds are, when you're looking for the best plumbing service, it probably sounds something like this. Okay, Google, show me Roland Reich Plumbing. That's right. Roland Reich Plumbing is a Google guaranteed service, so you can be assured of work quality, background of employees, and the right service done on time, on budget. With satisfaction Google guaranteed. So for any plumbing issue, large or small, use the Bold City's best. Roland Reich Plumbing at plumberinjacks.com.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life. Office in Jacksonville.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Gentlemen, discover the new medical treatment that Viagra doesn't want you to know about. I'm Bradley I with Synergenics Elite Health, and we offer GainsWave. It's a simple 20-minute in-office procedure. GainsWave is non-invasive, and it restores the poor blood flow that causes ED. Stop popping pills and scheduling intimacy. Call 904-500-5500. Consultations are free. Mention this radio station for $150 off your first treatment. Call Synergenics Elite Health at 904-500-5500 to learn about the GainsWave ED treatment today.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here from the Blue Crab Crab House. February means the Mardi Gras menu returns to the Blue Crab Crab House. Gumbo, shrimp Orleans, blackened redfish, appetizers, dessert, and more. This includes, of course, their regular menu where you get crabs from the Alaskan waters, the Canadian waters, the Southern Georgia waters. It's only at the Blue Crab Crab House. Doors open at 4:30, San Jose, and of course, Jewington Creek Road.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here for Orange Environmental Services, the superstars at taking care of your pest control and your lawn. They mow our lawn, they treat our lawn, and they're the best in the business at pest control with Centricon Termite Protection. They are the superstars. I trust them. You should too. 272-3284. The superstars at taking care of your pest control and your lawn are Orange Environmental. Call them today at 272-3284.
Did you know that there are 215,000 IT support jobs in the U.S. waiting for a qualified candidate, with an average starting salary of $53,000 a year? It's why Google developed the IT Professional Certificates, online programs that provide the job-ready skills you need to start or advance your IT career. By completing the program, your resume can be considered by Google and 40 other top employers. And you don't need tech experience or a college degree. Enroll today at g.co/ITcert. That's g.co/ITcert.
Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Jacksonville? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Jacksonville area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Jacksonville is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by The Best Bet. Tony Baselli was a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame for a 4th time, but did not get the knock on the door this time around. Tony Baselli a guest this morning of The Drill and was asked what his message would be to the Hall of Fame voters.
I'm not sure what else you want me to do. What else do you want? Because you as voters, and this isn't a shot at them, it's hard. There's no stats. One, I shouldn't be lumped together with guards, positions. Two, there's no stats for any of us. And so you have to watch us and understand what we did. And that's hard for people who aren't watching film and stuff. It's difficult. And by the way, there's a handful of people in that room who never watched me play because they weren't covering the game. And so what do you have to go by? Go by the guys I played against. And the guys I played against said I was the best.
Tony Baselli on The Drill, 72 degrees at 4 o'clock. Time and temperature brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire, with 4 locations on the First Coast to serve you.
The biggest thing to me is there's a lot of great football players in this league. I mean, Lamar Jackson just won the unanimous MVP a day ago, and so I understand that don't have to be the one face of the league. If I just go out there year in and year out and try to be the best player and person I can be, then a lot of good things usually happen.
Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl winning quarterback last night for the Kansas City Chiefs. I like that he's a little humble. You know, before the season this year, I was ragging on him a little bit. Patrick Mahomes, I said he's everywhere, and I'm kind of over it. Well, I guess I better stop watching television now because Mahomes is certainly going to be everywhere. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carlin, Andrew Gibson, and Lauren Brooks talking a little NFL now that the football season is over. So what's next?
Well, number one, we're tied for first. Okay, undefeated. And just so you know, the Jags are undefeated and tied for first. I want to get that out right now. I think well positioned. Okay, I think really right now well positioned. I mean, no games back in the standings. So that's what I say I said that last night when the game ended. I think there's the stat we just kept reading off about how Tom Brady and Peyton Manning have been in every Super Bowl the last 7 years between them, and that those two and Drew Brees and Big Ben and even Eli have all been in 17 of the last 20. It's a pretty amazing stat if you think about it. But it shows you how important that position is, and it shows you how dominant it is. And I think we have this changing of the guard, which is kind of cool because you need a changing of the guard at times.
For sure. It just is crazy that it's kind of everybody done it at the same time.
Yeah.
We'll see about Ben Roethlisberger. We'll see about Aaron Rodgers.
But there's certainly Aaron Rodgers was only in one of those games, by the way. But so that's why I didn't include him. All the others played multiple ones. But I think but you're right. It all coming to a head. But the beauty of the league is here comes the next group. Mahomes and Russell Wilson. You guys know how I feel about him. Lamar Jackson just was a unanimous MVP and should have been unanimous, by the way. Jimmy G, I think, is in there. He's not as dynamic as the other guys, but I think he's in this next wave of quarterback. So my thought is that's what we have.
Deshaun Watson.
How to leave him out? Deshaun Watson right in the middle of that group. So we have this new wave of quarterbacks and this new wave of faces of the league who, again, are quarterbacks.
Almost every one of those mobile.
That's right. Yeah, and that's a great point, Lauren. The game has changed a little that RPO is real, horizontal spreading of the field is real, quarterback movement is more important than ever. Moving pockets, the field spread. You're right. So they play differently than that other group I just read off, don't they? They play differently than Brady and Manning and Roethlisberger and Eli and Breeze. They play, no question. This group plays differently than that group did. You're right about that. But this is the group, which does make me wonder moving forward. I don't know. I'm not as convinced everybody else is that Gardner Minshew is going to be the Jaguars quarterback and that Nick Foles is not. I'm not as convinced of that for the long haul. But I do think there's a good chance of it. Does that make sense? I don't want to contradict myself here. Okay, I'm not totally convinced, but I do think it would be a really cool thing if Gardner Minshew is all that was cracked up to be. And I think Baker Mayfield could get in this group too. I think Josh Allen, that other Josh Allen, could get in this group too. I just read off a handful, but I do think that's the new group. These 5 guys plus Baker Mayfield, plus Josh Allen, maybe Kyler Murray,
Wentz.
Carson Wentz as well. This whole group. I mean, there's Jared Goff. They're all young guys. They could all get in this group. But it does make me wonder, is Gardner Minshew next? Is he in it? He doesn't have to be first or second in it. And could Jacksonville, which hasn't ever had the in thing, other than a stretch in the 90s where they had this very good coach in Tom Coughlin, this very tough-nosed team, could we kind of be part of that? And I guess that's kind of my thinking is, can you look up and you're part of all this? And despite how much it seems the Minshew attention's a little over the top, he's a good player maybe. And by the way, I'm fine if Nick Foles wins the job, but it won't be this. It won't be face of the league stuff, right? And I think that's one of the reasons people want Gardner to win the job. I don't care who wins the job, but I get that. So it'd be nice if this is the group that we're moving forward with as a league, if Jacksonville had a guy right in that group. I guess that's kind of the point.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, that's why Gardner Minshew won the starting job over Nick Foles throughout the season, was because he had mobility and he was able to escape and avoid sacks at times. But moving forward, does he have the type of arm Patrick Mahomes has? Absolutely not. Now, granted, most guys don't. But I just don't know that he's going to be accurate enough and have the right vision. And certainly I hope that, because, right, as you read off all of that, it makes you think this is Minshew's team, not Foles' team.
It does, and I think when you look at it, it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. And but in terms of faces of the league's in a great place when it comes to quarterbacks, and Mahomes is leading the way.
Yeah, certainly. All right, Hayes, you have a thought. I want you to take it away.
All rise. Now, Hayes Carline's closing argument.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
Presented by the personal injury law firm of Harrell and Harrell.
Order.
So the Super Bowl ends last night, and my 9-year-old son Jackson watches it until the end with me, and Avery did as well. And so we're getting the kids to bed, and Jackson is just so excited. I mean, like, as we're watching the game, he's like, I've never been this nervous before. And he's a 9-year-old kid. I'm like, well, this is the beauty of sports. You know, I was like, imagine if you're a Chiefs fan. Imagine if you're a 49ers fan. And so we watch the game. He loves it. We're pulling for the Chiefs. Mahomes leads them to the victory. So I'm walking my son to his bedroom, and all he can say is, Patrick Mahomes is just so great. Patrick Mahomes, so great. And I was like, I thought Drew Brees is your favorite player. And he's like, well, Brees is still my favorite player, but once he retires, Patrick Mahomes is going to be my favorite player. So I put him to bed, and it's just so sad because I haven't really forced the Jaguars on Avery or Jackson because I feel like they should get that organically, and the Jaguars should earn that from them. And they haven't. And I'm not going to stop my son from becoming a Patrick Mahomes fan or a Drew Brees fan for the last few years. And it just speaks to the lack of energy and buzz right now that this franchise has. You look at the Super Bowl odds that have come out. There's a couple books that have the Jaguars last. Yet this is an owner who believes that everything should remain the same, and we're only going to fire one guy in the front office, and we're only going to fire one coordinator, and that's going to solve everything. And yet everybody around the NFL nation sees how incredibly silly that is. And it got me thinking. Shad Khan is a bold guy. He certainly doesn't go by convention, and he didn't this time around by keeping people. Well, it's not too late. Eric Bieniemy is still there. Go fire these guys today. Go hire Eric Bieniemy. Go get a Chiefs front office executive that Eric Bieniemy likes and start it from scratch today. It is not too late. The Falcons hired Dan Quinn on February 2nd. The Colts hired Frank Reich on February 11th. There is no reason why the Jaguars should remain on the present course that they are on, and seeing the Chiefs last night and seeing where this league is going and seeing these other teams that the Jaguars are bunched with in the bottom, the dregs of the league in terms of Super Bowl odds, they have hope. The Bengals are getting ready to get Joe Burrow. Washington, the Giants, they have new coaches. The Lions, yes, they're awful, but they had an injured quarterback. So they can be sitting there saying, you know what? Matthew Stafford gets healthy. Maybe we can be next year's 49ers. We're going to have the third pick in the draft. We get a big-time playmaker on defense. Stafford's back. Maybe we can make a run. Miami's got 3 first-round picks and was one of the hottest teams in the last month and a half of the season. What do the Jaguars have that gets you even remotely excited? I mean, maybe Gardner Minshew will be good, but I think there's absolutely as good a chance that he's not going to be good. I just find it really, really disturbing how little energy and buzz the Jaguars have right now. And I thought that my anger had subsided after the season, but seeing the Chiefs last night, seeing a quarterback lead the way that could easily be playing here, it just stirred it all back up. And seeing my son say, how much he loves Patrick Mahomes and Drew Brees, and I can't counter that. I'm not going to sit there and tell him, no, you should really pay attention. And he likes Gardner Minshew. But my son's 9 years old. He's smart enough to realize that the Jaguars are not going to be good anytime soon. It still is amazing to me that Shad Khan thought that the best direction for this franchise was to keep Dave Caldwell as general manager and Doug Marrone as coach. And I know it's never going to happen, but it's not too late. You can go get Eric Bieniemy today, and you can get somebody else to be the general manager, and they will have plenty of time to assess the roster before the new league year opens on March 18th. It just upsets me because this franchise does not have a direction right now, and everyone knows it except Shad Khan.
It's not going to happen this year, so we will see what happens as we move forward. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into some college hoop style after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Now, the Lamb Rant, brought to you by the Best Bet Card Rooms at Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Did you call in sick today? Or maybe you just took a vacation day. If you did go to work, do you plan on getting much done or debating the Super Bowl and the commercials, of course, with your colleagues? Yes, this is my annual plea to Uncle Sam to make Super Bowl Monday an official holiday. I should tell you I've made this plea for 20 years, and each time it's fallen on deaf ears. I don't understand the problem. Little gets done on Super Bowl Monday. Manufacturing is down. Sales are down. The Super Bowl now ranks with Christmas and Thanksgiving as America's favorite days. The television audience will be the largest viewed show of the year. More nachos, beer, burgers, and America's other favorite snacks will be consumed. Few days produce more hangovers. Come on, give us a break and not make us feel guilty about taking the day off.
Check out Uncle Dave's column at 1010XL.com on the homepage. Look for Lamb at Large.
Diamonds Direct makes it easy for you to go over the top this Valentine's with an expanded selection of the most romantic gifts, special in-store designer trunk shows, and 3 years zero-interest financing on any Valentine's purchase. Jewelry is the #1 gift for Valentine's, and Diamonds Direct is the #1 destination. Diamond stud earrings, diamond eternity bands, layered necklaces, bangles, colored gemstones, and of course the largest selection of diamonds and engagement rings in America. As part of our Valentine's celebration this Friday and Saturday, Saturday, we're hosting an exclusive designer event featuring world-renowned designer Simon G. See an expanded selection of Simon G creations, including some new items never seen before. And no matter what you choose for the one you love, you're guaranteed the best price. Plus, you can spread your payments over 3 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Check out our online gift guide and even shop online if you like. DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
The highly skilled members of Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians have been helping build Jacksonville for 118 years. Think about where you work. They built it. That hospital room where your children were born. They built it. The quality work and dedication of the highly skilled members of Local 234 has made them who they are since 1901. Learn more at ua234.com. Local 234. Make the right connection.
They walked in with this giant hose thing and this weird looking mask.
I could not tolerate the mask. Clear and simple.
CPAP works for some people, but not everyone. That's why there's Inspire. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. If you're struggling with CPAP, visit InspireSleep.com. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
Testimonials are genuine and typical. Results may vary. Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you. Review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
Now with 10 locations throughout Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet is your one-stop shop for auto and tire needs. Mike Dempsey here. Tire Outlet is the largest family-owned full automotive shop in Jacksonville. That means wherever you are, they're nearby. And that means when you arrive, they can address just about any auto issue you have. An authorized dealer of Yokohama, they're always offering wholesale prices and premium service. And right now, you can get $10 off an oil change. Just visit the offers page at tireoutlet.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 3rd, 2002, in just his second season in the NFL and his first as a starting QB, the legend of Tom Brady was born as the GOAT would win his first Super Bowl ring.
Instant Keys specializes in creating replacement automotive keys, even when all the originals are lost or broken. Instant Keys provides expert service for nearly every foreign and domestic vehicle, including the high-end luxury models like BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, and Infiniti. With Instant Keys, you'll get dealership-level service at a fraction of the cost without the dealership hassles. If you need honest, professional locksmith service, call the best around. Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and I just can't say enough about Pella Windows and Doors. The highest quality products, the strongest limited warranties in the industry, constant innovation and design, and they just flat out look amazing. But don't just take my word for it. Consumer Reports has Pella rated #1 in all 3 window categories, wood, vinyl, and composite series. So why not go with the best? Call them today or visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway next to Tesla. Pella Windows and Doors, and tell them Mike sent you.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. I've told you for the longest time, if you need a new pool, it's Stanley Pools. Call them at 269-7277. New pools, remodeled pools, pavers, fire pits. They do it all, and they do an outstanding job. And they have done it in this town since 1988. It is a true family business, and they truly are the best in the business. I trust Stanley Pools. Call them today, 269-7277 for the best in the business, Stanley Pools.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Hey, Hickett here for Roof It Right. Don't let anyone touch your roof until you call my friends at Roof It Right, the local 3-star President's Award winner. Only 17 roofers in the country have that distinction because they are the best, period. They're the only company I'd call when I need a roof, and with expert craftsmanship and industry-leading warranties, they're who you should call as well. Find them at roofitRightFL.com. That's roofitRightFL.com. Roof It Right, so you can sleep at night.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
How about this, sports fans? On this Big Chief Tire Monday, along with Carline, Brooks, and Gibson, the Noles Florida State, you've heard of them. They have a basketball team. Do you know that? Good one.
They do.
Did you know that North Carolina, the University of, has a basketball program too?
Yes.
North Carolina is coming to Tallahassee to the Tuck tonight as a 10-point dog. Did you know that?
It's incredible.
A 10-point dog. The University of North Carolina. I got more. Do you know Michael Jordan played there?
I did.
He was like on their team.
Dean Smith's the only guy that can hold him under 20.
How about that? They're a 10-point dog and should be. How's that for? And I'm not going to say it's a changing of the guard. It's a one-year thing. I say 1 year. I don't think Florida State's going anywhere, but North Carolina will bounce back. And obviously Cole Anthony's hurt. I know all the storylines, but isn't that bizarre?
It's really bizarre to see North Carolina 10-11 overall and 3-7 in conference play.
Wow,
it's remarkable, and yet the line is crazy big. And then the ESPN matchup predictor that I love has Florida State with an 86.8% chance to win tonight.
How about that?
North Carolina just lost to Boston College. With Cole Anthony playing, he had 26 points, and they still lost to Boston College.
I didn't realize he was back. Here's what I
Yeah,
know.
so he just
came back. That was his first game back.
Wow, how about that? But I mean, the Noles are. I'm telling you, the Noles might be a Final Four team, and I get that.
I can't believe they fell from 5th to 8th with the one loss at Virginia, a team that was extremely desperate.
Yeah, but I don't in a defending national champion. But that's okay. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you are. It matters where you're seated, and they're by all accounts they're on the 2 line today, right? FSU.
That's what I would think.
Where's Joey Brackett?
Their net has been a little lower than what you would expect. So let me get that for you.
Lauren made a good point. Lauren, you made a good point last week that, and I agree with you what you said. Other than at Duke, Noles might not get beat again.
Yeah.
I mean, other, in the regular season.
Yeah, their net is 15. So what would that be? Like I would assume
that's a 3.
I think they're probably a 3.
Yeah, okay.
This isn't the only thing they look at, but
it's
they're probably not a 2 if their net's a 15.
Where do you have Lauren?
They're 3 in Tampa.
In
the East.
Is that Joey Brackett's?
Yep.
Interesting. A 3 in Tampa in the East. Okay. Yeah, I Lord knows I've never been called a Florida State homer, but boy, they feel like better than a 3 seed to me, don't they?
Yes.
I mean, they really do. They just feel like better than a 3 seed. And again, in full disclosure, I watch every dribble of every Florida game because I'm a Florida guy. I've been honest about that. But because of the way their recent success and mostly how they've played this year, I find myself watching all the FSU games. I mean, I watch every FSU game and pretty much every dribble of FSU games.
ACC Network has really helped.
Yeah, it had.
For
no
me,
question. No, me too. But they're really good. I mean, this isn't a. I mean, they've won 10 in a row. They've won 12 of the last. Well, they've lost 3 times all year. I mean, they're really good. This is a legitimately good team playing in a brutally hard league. I mean, it's a hard-ass league, man. This is the SEC of basketball, or this is SEC football of basketball. It is a –
I think it's a little down, though.
But even when it's down, it's good. It's like the SEC in football.
Yeah.
People say the SEC in football is down. Well, you know what? It's still the best league. Even in its down years, the SEC in football is best. I think the same thing about ACC basketball. Even when it's down, it's a really good league.
Let me ask you this, though, to that point. How many ACC teams would you say are in the top 50 in net?
Off the top of my head, I'd say obviously Duke, FSU. I'm going to say Virginia.
Maybe Louisville.
Louisville, 4.
I was going to guess 4.
4. It's 3. So there's 3 teams. Virginia is 58th.
Okay.
So there's 3 ACC teams in the top 57. It's actually 57 in the country, and then Virginia checks in at 58. So yeah, I mean they've only got 3 teams in the top 57. It's a sensational league, but it is certainly down this year.
But I do think come tournament time, watch out for Syracuse. I think watch out for Louisville. I think. We'll see.
I could certainly.
I think Pitt's got a decent team. So yeah. But we'll see. So the Noles. And again, Lauren made this point the other day, and I mean, it's realistic. Okay, they're going to beat North Carolina tonight. They're going to beat Miami at home on Saturday. I'm pretty confident of those 2 wins. They go to Duke Monday night, a week from tonight. I don't think they're going to win that game. They could win the game, by the way. Home against Syracuse on the following Saturday could get sticky. Home against Pitt, I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win at NC State.
They'll definitely beat Pitt because they're probably pissed still about that original game.
Yeah, maybe at Notre Dame could get sticky for them. Notre Dame almost beat them in Tally. And they do play at Clemson before that. But I think they're headed for, if they're not on the 2 line, I'd be very surprised. We'll see.
May I give you another quick stat on that?
Yeah.
So we just talked about the ACC having 3 teams in the top 57. The SEC has 7 teams in the top 42 in the net.
Is that right? 7.
So the
7
SEC
in the 42
is a much better league than the ACC this year, at least to this point,
Yeah.
going off this metric.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's the top metric that they use to field and seed the tournament.
I do think the SEC is as good as it's been, is as deep as it's been in a long time. I do agree.
I can tell you one bad basketball team in the SEC. That would be one Vanderbilt. Watching them Saturday night, I know Neesmith is hurt, but good night. They're terrible. I almost started to feel bad for them, but then they ended up battling back because, of course, everyone battles back and Florida goes through those shooting droughts. But, that's not a good basketball team. Florida should not feel all that good, and I'm glad when I read Chris Harry's at the buzzer, he said there was not confetti dropping in the locker room after anything like that. No champagne being popped.
Gators have lost 3 of 4 and barely won the one they won against Vanderbilt. But I'll say what I said all along about Florida. And Hick and I talked about this on the podcast. You can hear it on 1010XL.com if you choose to. I said this today. They had 7 games where I thought they had to go 5-2 in that stretch. I thought that would leave them with 17-9 and 9-4, well positioned to go into a brutal end of the season. Well, they're 1-1. They're 1-1 in that 7-game stretch where I thought they had to go 5-2. They're 1-1, which means they've got to go 4-1 in their next 5 games. If they do, 17-9, 9-4, then I think they're well positioned to get in. They still have a brutal end of their schedule, but I think that well positions them.
Georgia's not as good as it looked early in the season.
But they have one player that could take over games. But yeah, they should beat Georgia Wednesday night, which would mean they're now 2-1 in that stretch where I think they've got to go 5-2.
By the way, finally a game not on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, right.
For someone who has to work Tuesday nights,
You'd like that.
It's been
I think,
tough.
I think it's Wednesdays for a while now. I think
It's the next 2 Wednesdays, and then the final one at home against Arkansas is a Tuesday.
So
I looked.
Yeah. So here's the way it works. I think in these last 5, I think they've got to go 4-1. I think they're going to win the 3 home games. Georgia this week, and then Vanderbilt and Arkansas the week on the 15th and the 18th. I think they're winning those 3 games. At Ole Miss and at A&M will not be easy games for them because that's who they are. If they split those games and win the home games, 17-9 and 9-4, can they get there?
Yes, and Ole Miss should be easy. They're 1-7 in the league, so if they lose at Ole Miss, shame on them. But certainly A&M could be a loss. But yeah, I think they should be able to make you feel like they're getting hot because the schedule is certainly softer. And, I don't know that they'll beat Georgia. I mean, Anthony Edwards might have 35 and 20 rebounds the way he's playing. Georgia as a team is struggling. But I think, to Lauren's point, it's hard to watch Florida and feel that they can go 3 weeks without losing a game, no matter how easy the schedule sets up. So they have the talent to certainly turn it around, but at some point, if you're 21 games into the season and this is still where you are, which I would say is not a very good place, it's getting harder to believe that this team is going to find itself.
Yeah, and I think that's because they, at times, cannot shoot the basketball. They don't have one person. You saw Lee Humphrey at the game because he works for, I think, Gators IMG Network.
He's the color commentator.
Right, yeah. He was obviously a guy who, anytime he got a good look, it was going in. These guys, at times, have great looks, and the ball's not dropping.
Yeah, the only guy that when he lets one go that I'm confident he's going to make it is Locke, and he's not nearly as good as those guys were. But he's the other guys I'm not confident is going in. It leads us to today's 10-10 take, which is brought to you by J. David Tax Law. Peace of mind is only a click, or a phone call away. The one thing I can't let go, and it is this, and I've said it all year long, and I like Mike White. I'm a defender of Mike White. But Dan Hicken told me something today that he read something online somewhere that clearly their clearest success, somebody does all these metrics, is when Payne and Blackshear are in the game together, their they are a way better team. They score more, they defend better, they lead the game more. They outscore the opponents most of the time when Payne and Blackshear are playing together. Against Auburn, the only game where they both played 32-plus minutes was by far their best game of the year. They beat the number 4 team in the land, a team that's going to be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, by 20 points. Now, if the one time they did that, they beat Auburn, who's really good, by 20 points. And we've got these metrics that say they are better when those two guys are in the game together. Why on God's green earth don't they do it all the time? That's the one I cannot figure out. I hope somebody will ask Mike White that again. I don't want to fire the coach, but if they're clearly better, if a dummy like me could see that in November, that they were going to be better with those two 6'10" guys in there together. They feed off each other. Blackshear's a way better player if you got your rim protector in there with him. He doesn't have to do that stuff. He's a better rebounder, as you pointed out, Hayes, when Payne's in there with him. Why on God's green earth, if the metrics prove it, if the most impressive game they've played all year proves it, why are they not both playing 30? I don't care whose time you're costing. Why are they not both playing 30-plus minutes every single game? That is the 10-10 take.
10-10 take.
Yeah, and he seems to have really soured on Payne. And, he played 4 minutes, the other day. So you hope that's not I don't know was he dealing with something? I don't know. I didn't see anything like that. So you hope that's not where he's deciding to take his rotation. But to play Payne, I get Payne was in a slump, and we talked about that. But I mean, it's not reduce Payne's minutes. It's just he's got to come out of it. I think they are absolutely a better team when Payne and Blackshear in. And again, the metrics do support it. I think they do it by like points per possession or something like that. And that's where it really stands out in that lineup's favor compared to the other lineups that Mike White has used. It's time. I mean, the only way that they're going to pull themselves out of this is with Omar Payne, and whether he's hit some sort of freshman wall or whatever, or he wanted to send him a message, you're not playing well for 3 games, so I'm gonna cut your minutes. Whatever it is, it's got to stop because Payne's got to be in the game. Again, I think they need to get Bassett some first half minutes because I do think he brings some toughness, sets a tone, takes charges.
He doesn't play at all.
He's
Tobo got in this game.
Yeah, Tobo played more. Tobo played more minutes than Payne.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Continue, but Bassett must be in the deepest of the dog.
Right, and I don't know. Maybe he's got an injury that just hasn't that I'm unaware of. I don't know if that factors into it, but I never saw anything that would indicate that. It just seems like he, again, I think that's tricky. Not that he's a great scorer, but he's as close to like a will you get presence as anybody on this roster. And I don't think in college basketball you can discount that, how important that is. The guy that gets you the stuff that the box score doesn't show. And again, I don't think he should be playing 25 minutes, but for him to not be playing at all, it also, I mean, you can't lead. If you're not playing, I mean, you lose all your ability in practice to be a leader. And again, whether it's 6 minutes, 8 minutes, get him in the first half, help you get Blackshear and Payne to halftime with a low amount of fouls so they can be aggressive in the clutch minutes. He needs to have a role. But Mike White's done to your point to start, Mike White has done a poor job with this team in terms of, and Payne is exhibit A of him being late to the party and now apparently leaving the party early.
Which is never fun to do. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, one of the keys is Keontae Johnson not getting into foul trouble. And I know at times we've talked about him not being that great of a player, but he provides this spark and electricity that at times it feels like the team does not have without him. But, I mean, if you're Mike White, you're probably listening to some of the criticism and going, my 2 McDonald's All-Americans had 5 points against Vanderbilt, one of the worst teams, obviously 0-8 in the SEC, one of the worst teams, and combined, Scotty Lewis and Trey Mann had 5 points. What more am I supposed to do?
Scotty Lewis and Trey Mann have wonderful skill sets. They both have great handles. They can both score. They can jump out of the gym. They're lightning quick. They look like future NBA players, both. But they're not ready. They were really overrated in terms of what they could be as freshmen. Some freshmen, Cole Anthony's getting 26 for North Carolina right now. Scotty Lewis isn't that, and Trey Mann isn't that. That's not the coach holding him back. That's not, well, Mike White isn't a good enough coach to get 26 a game out of.
Right.
It's not. Scotty Lewis. They're not ready. They're not ready. That's not coaching. You can blame him all you want, but basketball, it isn't that complicated. Okay, if a guy can take over games, he can take over games. So we'll see. It's bothersome to me that I think the answer is there. Play your big guys together, and then they get foul trouble, play one of the other big guys. But, again, it's a different game we play these days, no question about it. We'll take a break. Let's get to some college football. That's next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, folks, you still got about another week left to go see Love Letters at Alhambra. That is a great date night. Prime rib dinner and a fantastic show. You ready for this? 2 tickets are just $89. Are you kidding? That is a great, great night out. What a great date night. Again, Love Letters, which is a fantastic show going on right now at Alhambra. 2 tickets, just $89. Plenty of parking, free parking right there on site. Easy to get to on Beach Boulevard, just off of I-295. So call the number today, 641-1212, or log on to the website. It's alhambrajacks.com. You want a great night out. Doesn't cost very much. Great food and a great show, great entertainment. You want to go see Love Letters at Alhambra, 641-1212, or log on to the website. That's alhambrajacks.com. Go see Love Letters this week. You got about a week left.
A Gator, a Seminole, and a Hurricane.
How'd they get you to go to Florida State?
They recruited me.
There's never a dull moment on the sports stand.
Okay, fellas, it's pretty simple. You do a button hook, the rest of you guys block for me, I'll take care of the rest.
Late nights on 1010XL.
You know the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center is the place to go for all of your home remodeling. But did you know that they are the only showroom in town with Karastan area rugs? Karastan has made high-quality rugs for 90 years, now offered at affordable prices. Karastan has so many options, even a Property Brothers line. Karastan rugs are perfect on hardwood, tile, or vinyl plank flooring. Plus, Karastan will get your brand new rug delivered quickly and directly to your home. Stop by the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center today on Southside Boulevard across from Tinseltown, or head to floorsandkitchen.com.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their positions. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
Villa is Jacksonville's first and only home ownership company where customers can find a home, get a loan, close and own a home, all under one roof, one brand. By putting all 3 pieces under one roof, the buying, selling, the escrow, the mortgage, it helps make the home buying and selling process simple. That's what Villa is focused on, making home ownership simple by focusing on the customer and delivering an extraordinary home buying experience. Call 904-524-1165 or go to villa.com.
To me, the most important word in the world is dignity. There are certain God-given rights to be fed, to have shelter, medicine, and clothing. When many of our clients come to us, they face the great risk of losing much of what they have. In some cases, losing everything. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In one instant, an accident, a natural disaster, or the intentional acts of others can threaten our dignity. Whether it's the loss of a paycheck, paying medical bills, enduring a life of pain and suffering, or a claim with your own insurance company, or a business dispute and you can't afford to pay a lawyer by the hour, your dignity hangs in the balance. You only pay us if we recover for you. Let my firm fight for you, your family, and your dignity. Call us for a free consultation. Dial pound law on your cell phone. That's pound 529. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
This is Hacker. Join me for the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gator Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
John's Auto has been in Jacksonville for 32 years. That doesn't happen by cheating customers. At John's Auto, their reputation is in its work. Top quality for a lower price. It's full service at John's Auto. Brake, shocks, alignment, transmission, front end repair. Tires, and they specialize in AC repair, whether it's the repair itself or getting your AC coolant checked. John's Auto, Arlington Road. Call 743-3857, a family-owned business.
Flying out of JIA can be such a headache sometimes. But when you park at USA Park Airport Parking, you'll discover an easier way. Hi Flying Jacko here, reminding you can score a $4 off coupon at usapark.net. It's the fastest way to fly.
Frank Frangie with big news about Center State Bank, Jacksonville's best bank. It's growing, with branches now in virtually every area of town. Center State now is on the south side of Beach and Hodges, in Orange Park, in San Marco, the west side in Ortega, Riverside, and Normandy Boulevard, and even 3 in St. Augustine. So many locations. And with the same great service, same great people, bankers you can trust. Bankers that I trust and have for the longest time. You want a great bank? Well, then you want Center State, the best bank around. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Jacksonville? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Jacksonville area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Jacksonville is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
Hey, we do want to thank our friends from Big Chief Tire. Guys, they do a terrific job. Reed and Fritz are wonderful people, and there's a reason they've done it for so long here in town. They're good at it. 1961 is when they started this thing. 61. And they do a terrific job. The north side, that's Lem Turner and Dunn Avenue. Blanding Boulevard's a mile south of 103rd Street. Their main office is Normandy and Lenox over there on the west side. And here on the south side, Phillips near University. They do such a good job. You can trust them. I'm telling you, the cars matter, man. You don't want the car breaking down. You want your tires. You want, whether it's tires, oil changes, brakes, alignments. You want to make sure that car is well taken care of. That is important stuff now. So trust my friends at Big Chief Tire. Frangie, along with Carline, Brooks, and Gibson here. Let's get into a little bit of college football. We'll get to recruiting in a second. We'd see where Chase Bryce chose Duke. Follow with kind of your recommendation for quarterbacks. Hayes said earlier in the year that quarterbacks should go to Duke. A transfer quarterback should go to Duke that's ready to play, and you'll be way better when you get out of there. I think you're dead on that.
Particularly if you're a quarterback that's got a ring, and Chase Bryce does, and I think he can always say that they wouldn't have gotten it without him because he filled in beautifully when Trevor Lawrence was hurt in the second half of that game. So, I think it helps that he won a title 2 years ago, and he's at least been able to check that box, which most college athletes don't get to. And now he can focus more on his NFL future, and obviously at Duke, if you win 8 games, it's a banner year. So you're not going to have the team success that he's enjoyed at Clemson. But I think you go there, you let Cutcliffe develop you, and it gets you, I think, more on NFL general manager radars when you've had that kind of tutelage.
Yeah, I think it's a smart decision for him. And I'm excited to see, now that he has an opportunity to start, I'm excited to see what he can do. I don't pretend to know a lot about the Duke program, but I think it is a good move as far as, like you said, a history of Cutcliffe teaching quarterbacks.
Yeah, so let's get to recruiting for a second. So the Gators had a good recruiting year, top 10 recruiting year by all accounts, right? Regardless of what happens on Wednesday. Yet here comes a signing day. It just doesn't feel the same, does it?
No.
I mean, signing day, because, about 70-80% all sign in December now? Do you miss it? Do you miss Wednesday, the first Wednesday in February?
Yes.
I do, too. More than I thought I would. You probably weren't all that big a recruit, Nick, were you?
No. And, I mean, I understand that the December takes a bit of away, but I guess I kind of like December because it's helpful for the kids to stop getting targeted and everything like that.
100% agree with that. We needed the December date.
Yeah.
We actually need an August date. We need an August and a December date, so the kid that wants to go can enjoy his senior year, and this kid can enjoy the holidays. I totally agree we need the date, and they've done it right so far. But I'm talking about me.
I get it.
No,
you miss the
Wednesdays-
fax machine too, don't you?
Oh, I love a fax machine. You give me a good. I told Hicken that today. Give me a good solid fax machine. I want to fax something, even though I don't. Does anybody fax anymore?
It's all electronic.
I want a fax. No, I don't want electronic. I want a fax.
But the fax is electronic.
That's what I want. I want the fax machine.
I'm sorry. I did read today. The Athletic does this thing where they re-rank the classes 4 years later.
Yeah, that was good.
Right? And so if you didn't see it, Alabama or Clemson was number 1. This is the 2016 class. And so Clemson had the number 1 class re-ranked. Alabama number 2. Florida number 3. That's what surprised me. Because Jim McElwain was the coach, obviously. At the
Tell me
time.
that again. Now, what happened?
So they re-ranked the recruiting classes from
4 years
four
later.
years
How they did.
previously. So 2016 was
Based
the
on
class.
how they did.
Right. And it honestly, to me, Hayes, was surprising that Alabama wasn't number 1, looking at the NFL talent like Quinnen Williams, obviously already been drafted and played a year in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is on that class as well. But Clemson rated out number 1 because they had guys like Isaiah Simmons in that class. And then Alabama was 2, and Florida was actually 3. I thought that was a little surprising.
It was. I think it speaks to the gap between Clemson, Alabama, and everybody else. Because in 2016, Kirby Smart, hadn't gotten established yet at Georgia. So this will obviously change in future years as they go back and start to re-rank these classes. But for 2016, obviously it tells you that there was a pretty big gap between Clemson, Alabama, and everybody else if Florida was 3rd. And I think it speaks to 2 things. Yeah, Jim McElwain deserves credit for identifying those players and getting them signed. And then I think Dan Mullen deserves equal credit for developing them over these last 2 years so that they would have this kind of success. And, because I think it goes hand in hand. I think you have to recruit and identify. And then obviously once they get to your campus, you've got to take them and make them much better players and develop them out. So I think it speaks highly to both. And again, you look at Florida's record since 2016, and I want to say they had it in there. And it was funny because Clemson and Alabama, it was like 4 losses, 5 losses, and then Florida was like 14. But over the last 2 years,
right,
it's only been, 4, 5? How many? They've lost, 5 games the last 2 years?
Right,
they lost
right.
3 his first year
That's
and 2
right.
last year?
Yeah.
So, and it said that obviously the 14 is very high because that first year they were on campus first or second year was the McElwain debacle year.
Right.
Where, he made up the death threats and got fired.
Yeah, so in the Clemson class, it was, like I said, Simmons, also Dexter Lawrence, and then some offensive linemen. And then Alabama's class, Jonah Williams, Quinnen Williams, Josh Jacobs, Jalen Hurts, Trevon Diggs.
That's all?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then Florida's class, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Jawan Taylor, LaMichael Pirine, David Reese, Ja'Kai Polite. Now, obviously,
Pretty good players.
Polite was drafted, but things didn't go according to plan. And then Notre Dame was 4th and Georgia was 5th. The guys in Georgia's class, safety J.R. Reed, Mecole Hardman, we obviously have seen a lot of him recently, Solomon Kinley, Tyler Clark, and Javon Wims.
And you wonder how much of that is, did he make them better, or were they better than they were given credit for? Kind of a little bit of both. All right, so in this recruiting cycle, I use cycle because that's what the recruitings use. So I'm now recruiting because I use the word cycle. Very proud of that, recruiting cycle. In this cycle,
From portal to cycle.
I got them all. Them all. I'm kind of a wordsmith.
Very impressive.
But I would think right now for Florida, the key hit is this guy, Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back out of Dalton, Georgia. For people that haven't followed it, and I don't follow recruiting closely, but he's about a 5'9", 200-pound running back that's really good. Rushed for 2,500 yards, had 40 touchdowns this year, 40 in a high school season, only had 233 carries. He's committed to Georgia Tech. Jahmyr Gibbs is his name. He's committed to Georgia Tech, but apparently Alabama's trying to get him. Ohio State's trying to get him. He's a guy the big schools missed, and now they realize they've missed. He's one that you're glad didn't sign in December. He's one that everybody would be chasing, could have, but he did. He committed to Georgia Tech, but didn't. I guess that's the one the Gators need to try and land more than anybody else.
Probably just because of the need of it. And Gibbs is 75th in the country overall as a prospect going off the 24/7 Sports Composite. So obviously this isn't just a 4-star; it's a high 4-star. But I think the apple of their eye in terms of when you look at the top 100 is there's a safety of Vontae Williams, who I believe is 42nd on the 24/7 Sports Composite. And I think Florida feels like they've got an excellent chance of getting a Vontae Williams. So I feel like that's the one that they're really kind of hoping for. And it seems like when you look at the crystal ball predictions on 24/7 Sports,
I love those.
Great.
I need a good crystal ball. I was thinking the same
We all
thing.
need more clairvoyance in our life.
It's unanimous to Florida. So everybody believes that the safety out of DeLand, Vontae Williams, will sign, and he's 44th in the nation. So that would obviously be a big get. But I think other than Williams and Gibbs, I don't know that there's anything else. Not to say they won't sign other players,
Right.
but I don't know that it will be players that make a lot of ripple nationally. But, we'll see.
The list I have of the unsigned targets, you've got an athlete named DeMarcus Beckwith. He'll announce at 9 a.m. Central Time. You've got the running back Rashad Clayton, who's committed to Colorado. He'll do 10 a.m. Central Time. A lineman named Cedric Van Pran, great name, but he's a Georgia commit, so you wouldn't expect him to change his mind. Also 10 a.m. Central Time. And then Gibbs, who you just mentioned, Frank, he's 12:30 Eastern. And then there's a defensive end named Princely Umanmielen, 2:30 Central Time. And finally, the safety that you just referenced, Hayes Williams, he will be 2:45 on Wednesday.
You'd love to
So everybody before our show.
You'd love to flip the Georgia commitment.
You'd love to,
But I
just
would
don't expect.
But I would think the Gibbs guy is the one that you really want to get. I mean, that's the one. Again, if Alabama and Ohio State are desperately trying to get him, that says all I need to hear. All right, and he's apparently a little bit more of a. He's more of a burst guy. He's a little smaller, more traditional third down guy. 'Cause they don't have that guy. If Malik Davis is not back to being Malik Davis, they don't really have. I don't think they have that guy. So we'll see.
I'm confused. There's one guy, a wide receiver named Leonard Manuel, who's a Florida commit, and it says he will not sign Wednesday. He will wait to sign on April 1st.
Yeah, I think that's a grades thing.
I think most people expect he will not be in the class.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss might sign him.
Is that the word? Okay. So yeah, he was for one. They couldn't take him earlier. And I think that's part of it as well. Florida State had 3 officials over the weekend. All 3-star guys, T.J. Davis, who's a defensive end, D.J. Lundy, who is a linebacker, Sidney Williams, who is a safety. I think it's going to be a tough finish for Mike Norvell. What he did do is get quarterbacks. I think Mike Norvell is going to have to win first. Dan Mullen kind of did too, by the way, and he did. I think if Mike Norvell can have success on the field the way the kind of success that Dan Mullen did in 2 years, then I think FSU's right back to recruiting. But doesn't that have the way things have played out with FSU now and how good the neighbors have been? Florida's a neighbor. Georgia's a neighbor. Clemson's a neighbor. LSU and Alabama. If you put a pin, you get a map and put a pin on Tallahassee and you draw a circle around it, that circle is going to have Alabama, LSU, Clemson, Georgia, Florida, all in that circle. It's a tough circle, by the way. You better be good recruiters. That's a tough circle. You got to win a little bit before you're going to have big, I think, enormous recruiting success.
I would think so. It is such a powerful brand that they could have greater early recruiting success than maybe what some would anticipate. But I think it's going to be a fairly steep learning curve for Norvell. Not to say he can't get past it, but he doesn't come to Florida State with a lot of name recognition when you're talking about the elite 4- and 5-star prospects that are currently sophomores, juniors, in that group. I don't know how much they're paying attention to Memphis, and he's never recruited the region of the country before, so that makes it difficult. But it's a logo that gets you in every front door, and it's a logo that everybody will hear your pitch. So he's going to have the opportunity. But yeah, and again, we talked about this. The schedule is going to set up that if they get, off to a great start, if they're able to beat West Virginia and Atlanta, they're able to go to Boise State and win that game, then you get the early buzz. So in one instance, having the schedule they have is a good thing because it could really get people talking about the Seminoles being back early on in his tenure, as opposed to if they had, 4 sort of, couple of cupcake non-conference and maybe a couple subpar conference opponents, and yeah, you're 4-0, but what have you really done? I mean, if they get off to a 3-0, 4-0 start, he will have a couple impressive wins, I think. I mean, I think beating West Virginia in the opener on a neutral site
I do too.
is a pretty good win.
If they can win
yeah,
that.
I mean, yeah, I think that gets people's attention, and then certainly I think going to Boise State and winning would get people's attention. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be a challenge, and I think he can do it just because of the power of the Seminole brand.
Yeah, me too. But,
Yeah, I agree.
But I will tell you.
Currently 20th in the 2020 rankings.
Well,
FSU.
read them off to me. Teams of note. Where's Florida in those?
We will
rankings?
start with the number 1 team, that is Georgia.
Okay.
23 commits, 4 5-stars. Number
Okay.
2, Alabama, 26 commits, 4 5-stars. Clemson, 23 commits, 5 5-stars. And then LSU, the reigning national champion, 24 commits, 3 5-stars. Then Ohio State, Texas A&M, Auburn, and Florida comes in at number 8.
And then
FSU is 20th.
And then Oklahoma and Michigan are 9 and 10. You're normal people. It's pretty much, if you again, I'll just read off the teams: Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, LSU, Ohio State are 1 through 5. A&M, Auburn, Florida, Oklahoma, Michigan, and then Texas is 11. You know what? You're normal teams. This your standard. That's your standard normal.
And the
thing.
Canes are 17th.
Yeah, so there you go. We'll take a break. Let's get it back to a little bit of NFL talk. We'll kind of reset where we were to start the program. We'll talk a little Super Bowl, where the league's headed, a little bit about Baselli and more. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
You want great barbecue? You want Bono's. Best barbecue around. Brooks and I have our planning meetings every Monday, and we plan the week while eating that great Bono's barbecue. Man, is it good stuff. Brooks gets that salad, barbecue salad. I get that all dark meat chicken and green beans, and is it good. If you want great barbecue, you want Bono's. 15 locations in town. Fast, friendly service, clean family restaurants, and just great barbecue. A legend in Jacksonville. If you want great barbecue, your choice is easy. You want Bono's.
He's number 55, Mac in the middle, Tom McManus.
I think what we saw Sunday.
Fridays on Jaguars Today, brought to you by McGowan's, the official heating and air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars on 1010XL.
2020 is here, and there's no more excuses. No more excuses for not getting a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. No more excuses for not getting 5 free oil changes. No more excuses for not getting the best price and top dollar for your trade. This year, there's no excuse why you shouldn't shop at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Trust us, we don't make excuses. We make it easy peasy to do business. Take a drive and see what you've been missing. We're here to wow you.
Hey, Hicken here for Roof It Right. Don't let anyone touch your roof until you call my friends at Roof It Right. The local 3-star President's Award winner. Only 17 roofers in the country have that distinction because they are the best, period. They're the only company I'd call when I need a roof, and with expert craftsmanship and industry-leading warranties, they're who you should call as well. Find them at roofitRightFL.com. That's roofitRightFL.com. Roof It Right, so you can sleep at night.
My name is Janice. I'm a client of Brett Hastings. Brett is the most brilliant, diligent, hardworking